Hisham. That should work now. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a seat, please. So I'm going to ask one question each. First of all, I just want to say that this is amazing. I think Saudi Arabia should be really optimistic if eloquent speech and excellent forward thinking, and we're really very glad to have you representing Saudi here. So the question to you is, what can companies, population here in Pittsburgh do to have opportunity in Saudi Arabia? Like specifically speaking, if you have all these cities that you're building, medical city and industrial city. How can we actually do it in a practical way?
I think after I heard the amount of technology that is available here, everything that is happening, the Saudis and the Saudi private sector is seeking the ideas and the technology to bring into the market. And I come and I visit here and I find that the local American businesses or technologies are also seeking to be exported into the rest of the world. What is missing is a missing link, is a pipeline, somewhere where one knows exactly how one can introduce his own product and where the other side can actually take that product. I think working together, we can create this pipeline. I come from the Chambers of Commerce, and I think we could produce a page where different kind of interested parties could put the products they might be interested in, and we could help at finding, the matching.
Yeah. So I'm a process person. So you're something like, the American Middle East Institute. You will have companies or people contacting, and then they will get in touch with the Chamber of Commerce via you, and have some steps. Or here's what we need, and just that will be really a good, nice bridge added to our bridges in Pittsburgh.
I'm sure. I don't think it's going to be difficult, but it's easy to find the perfect match that we have. I think it's much better to move into the Saudi ecosystem or the Saudi environment with a local partner. We do have some challenges in some of the regulation. However, a lot of the hurdles have been broken down if the business is of added value. Once the business is more trading and just a regular, I think the hurdles are much more, but technology is not going to find or face much hurdles.
Very good, thank you. So for Hisham, similar but slightly different question. Employment and education is, a concern in every country, but I think in Saudi and in Egypt has been a concern, and I think this is a problem that I'm not sure the new government under President Sisi is working really hard at this, because if you have over unemployment and not educated people or less educated people, it will be difficult no matter what you have in regards to investment. And what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And we have 95 million people, plus 3 in Saudi Arabia. So it's a big population. I think the education system in Egypt has been lacking. And the problem is that the education system is producing graduates that the private sector does not need, or the skills. They don't have the proper skills. And one of the things that we've been looking at, and actually USAID has a higher education initiative where they're linking US universities with Egyptian universities and the private sector. So I think this is a fantastic opportunity, not only to bring technology, to bring curriculum, but also to look at what the private sector needs. What are the needs of the private sector? And try to change the way the schools and universities are teaching to produce those, instead of retraining and retraining and retraining. The Egyptian government is trying to do a lot. They've actually introduced something that we didn't know what it was that all about, but they've opened in the last actually 3 weeks 12 Japanese schools using the Japanese model of education and so on. So it's like a pilot project to see how that will work, and they've had incredible subscriptions to people trying to send their children there. They've obviously reduced the cost, not free like Egyptian schools, and not as expensive as private schools in Egypt. So there's a huge amount of work to be done in education and university linkages, and I think, here in Pittsburgh, I think it would be an ideal matchup.
And just a quick follow-up, what are the steps that needs to be taken for the collaboration between,
I think the USAID project is a great avenue. I think direct contact between university here or in any university with the Egyptian universities. There are also a lot of private Egyptian universities now that are looking for collaboration.
Fantastic. Anybody from the audience would like to ask a question? I'm going to give you 2 seconds to think about it.
Can I add something to
please.
that?
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to add that it's not always just about matching the skills and what the private sector needs and what the universities can have. So the private sector itself in our part of the world is not as sophisticated as the rest of the world. So a lot of these young people as well, especially those that are graduating from things like engineering and medicine, are not finding the job that they were inspired to go to, because some of them might be graduates from here and then move back to their own countries, and this is where they get frustrated. How can you teach those young people that when they have the knowledge that is not in the institution that they're working with, how can they actually push to improve that institution without continuously complaining about how badly managed that institution is? Because if we can't be part of the change, we can't keep running away and coming and looking for a job at Carnegie Mellon.
And criticizing.
No, so you have to accept working in less qualified places to be able to make a change and turn them into something that's more sophisticated.
And be part of the solution for that place. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I don't think we're late, so please, I think lunch will come very shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.